Hello, grade 9s. This is pattern number 3. If you don't remember, pattern number 3 is subject, verb, direct object. Let's get into it. So, just like every other pattern, we walk through the same thought process. What's the verb? First one, Mr. Dopich made this assignment. Assignment can be a verb, like if you were assigned something, but the only real verb here is made. What kind of verb is this? Well, this is an action verb. It's something I can actually do. Who made? Well, that would be Mr. Dopich. That'd be me. Okay? And that is a noun. So far, we have our subject, our verb. Now we're looking for an object, right? What did he make? So we would say, to think the thought process, we start with verb, and then say the subject and the verb. So Mr. Dopich made who or what? What did Mr. Dopich actually make other than loud noises? Mr. Dopich made an assignment, right? That noun goes with this assignment. This is going to tell me a pronoun, but it's going to be an indication of which assignment. That is my direct object. Mr. Dopich made who or what? This assignment. And that's your pattern. Let's move on to the next one. A little different, but pretty similar. Mr. Dopich always makes the assignments. Technically, the only difference would be this. Makes is still my verb, right? This is an adverb. It's telling me when I make it. And we're back to the normal. Subject as a noun. And the direct object as a noun. And the works on assignments. Simple. So, what's the verb? Makes. Who makes? Mr. Dopich makes. And then you ask who or what. Mr. Dopich makes who or what? The assignments. The extra piece is always. It's just a little bit of an adverb to tell you when he makes it. He always makes it. So let's look at this. Number 3. All of the assignments help the students. What's my verb here? All of the assignments help the students. Oh, that must be help. And it's an action verb again. Okay? What actually helps? The assignments do. But let's look at it real quickly. Before you make these mistakes, just looking for the basic big word. Of is there too. Meaning that this prepositional phrase probably works off of something, right? All help the students. This is your major subject over here. This noun, all, this pronoun, which is a noun, tells you what helps the students. All of it does. All of what? All of the assignments. So let's say it again. Let's walk through the thought process. Help is the verb. All is the subject. All help who or what? All help the students. So the students must be my direct object at this point. Students being the key word because an article, absolutely works off of the noun. So once again, all help the students. Isn't that what we're saying? Yes, of course it is. What is all, though? This is where our word choices become very important. All what? What are you talking about? All of the assignments help the students. It's still all, but it's defining what all really is right there. So let's look at number 4. Many different students now have yearbooks. Okay, well, what's my verb? The only verb in here is have. And it's an action. It's something I can do. I'm having it. What has? Who have is the real question. Well, in case you didn't know, students have. I'm going to separate this because I made a mistake, but students is your major piece here. Okay? All of that is your subject, right? But students is your major component because different students is what we're talking about and how many? Many different students. Okay? So at this point, we're looking at the subject, students, the verb, have. Students have what? Yearbooks. That's easy. Direct object, component, breakdown. The only thing that we're missing here is now. Well, what is it actually saying? We now have something. It tells me when we have it, meaning that's an adverb. Pretty simple so far. Let's get to number 5. My favorite teacher yells at his students every day. Now, here's an issue, is that I just wrote this and I realized I made a mistake. So let's walk through it. And this might help you more than anything, to be honest. Yells is the verb. It is an obvious action verb because I'm yelling. Who yells? My favorite teacher. So is it my yells, favorite yells, or teacher yells? It's teacher, correct. So break it all down. Subject, but teacher is our root because everything else works off of that. Now here's the issue. I used at. Isn't that a preposition? Doesn't that become a prepositional phrase? So Mr. Dopich even made a mistake building your practice stuff. Because at his students is where he yells, and when he yells is every day. I don't actually have a direct object here. So this is really a pattern 1. I made a mistake by putting the word at. I should have said yells obscenities at his students, or like swear words, or mean things, or whatever I needed to. I should have put an actual piece here about what I'm yelling and then to whom. But I made that mistake. So please don't freak out on this one, because number 5, is that number 5? No, number 5 is actually a pattern 1. Let's look at number 6. The man down the street stole the diamond from the store. What's the verb? Stole. Once again, an action verb. So what are we talking about? Who stole something? Oh, the man stole something, right? That would be my subject and my noun, because the, clearly, an article is not what we're talking about. We're talking about man. Man stole who or what? What did the man actually steal? Well, he stole the diamond, right? So that noun would then become my direct object. We got some extra stuff, though, so let's finish up. Down the street, down being that prep phrase pipe piece, it tells me where the man is or where I stole it. So does it say where I stole it, or does it say where the man is? It tells me where the man is. So this works off of man as a prep phrase. And down here at from the store is another prep phrase. Where does from the store? Stole from the store, or is the diamond from the store? Did he steal it in the store, or did he steal the diamond which was from the store? This one works with diamond, right? So this is much more adjective than anything else. This one, again, is an adjective. It's telling me which man. It's describing a noun. So let's look at this one. On the weekends, I lift weights for nearly 1 hour. What's the verb? Sorry? Lift. It's an action verb. Who's lifting? Well, I am. What do I lift? So I lift who or what? Weights. This one was really easy. Couldn't I just say that? I lift weights. Yeah, I could. For nearly 1 hour, being a prep phrase, tells me what? How long, I put a hole in the paper. How long I lift weights and when I lift weights. So both of those being adverb type stuff. Let's look at number 8. I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit. I'm realizing that I'm not doing a great job with the camera. Each morning, my students ask the same questions about bell work. Absolutely the truth. So maybe I need to change the bell work. Maybe students need to be paying attention. But let's find out. What's the verb? Ask. Who is asking a question? My students. It's getting easier now because you're starting to understand the pattern. But also you're starting to see how my works with students. And so you're not even debating, is it students or is it my? You just, it's students. Now, what am I asking? What is the students asking? My students ask who or what. They ask the same questions. So that's our direct object. But is it the? Is it same? Is it question? They ask the same? They ask questions. Yeah, questions. Right? Because it's the same questions. And they all work off of that. Still got extras each morning telling me when they ask. And then about bell work, is that telling me what they ask about? Or is it telling me what kind of questions they have? It's telling me what kind of questions they have about bell work. Let's do another one. The president of Colombia requires biosecurity protocols at school. The president of Colombia requires biosecurity protocols at school. Requires. Okay, I'm going to go with that. That's my verb. And once again, it's an action verb. Who requires something? Well, the president of Colombia. Here's the hard part. Which one is the main word? President of Colombia, technically a prep phrase, works off of that. The works off of that. If you wanted to argue that the president of Colombia, like the president of the United States, is one major title, I would let that go. And I would say if you wanted to underline all of that, that's okay. But technically, of Colombia is just telling me which kind of president, because it could be the president of the United States. The president of Colombia requires who or what? He requires biosecurity protocols. So is it biosecurity or is it protocols? Well, if it's a biosecurity protocol would probably be your keyword, as that is the noun, and biosecurity is telling me what kind of protocols. And lastly, at school is once again a prep phrase, and it tells you where the biosecurity protocols work. And lastly, while in class before the bell, the students complete their assignments alone. What's the actual verb? Complete. And once again, an action verb. Who is completing something? The students. What do the students complete? So the students complete who or what? Their assignments. So assignments would be the key. You don't have to draw the giant line, but this is my direct object, right? How do they complete it? Alone. So it's a verb, or I'm sorry, an adverb. When do they complete it? While in class, before the bell. All adverbs. So these prepositional phrases are telling us time and place, right? Everything else, SVDO, is exactly the pattern that we've been looking at the whole time. Thank you, and I'll see you in group 4.